Order. Good afternoon, members, and welcome to today's meeting of the Northern Ireland Assembly Public Accounts Committee. Members' mobile phones must be set to airplane mode or turned off. It is not sufficient to put mobiles on silent mode as they continue to interfere with the Assembly recording. This session is being recorded in video and audio and can be accessed via online streaming on the Assembly website or Democracy Live. Members, this is our first meeting since the 8th of July, so can I take this opportunity to welcome members back and ask agenda item number 1, have we any apologies for this afternoon's meeting? All present. Okay, thank you. Agenda item 2 then are the minutes of the 8th of July 2021 that are in your pack, pages 7 to 9. Are members content that these are accurate and a true recording of the meeting? Agreed. Your permission to sign them? Thank you. Agenda item 3 then is declaration of interests. At each meeting, members are required to register relevant financial and other interests in the register of members' interests. Does any member have any interest they wish to declare this afternoon? Okay. Agenda item 4, matters arising. Any matters arising from the minutes? No. Agenda item 5, correspondence. Quite a bit of correspondence this afternoon, obviously given the break. Pages 19 to 219. And so if we can deal with that. My papers have got a bit jumbled here, just bear with me. Members are referred to correspondence in your pack at pages 19 to 91, dated the 24th of June, from Treasury Officer of Accounts, Department of Finance, guidance on the Northern Ireland public audit process, including PAC scrutiny of public spending. It is the much awaited Northern Ireland specific version of Her Majesty's Treasury guidance. A commitment was given to the committee last spring that TOA would work together with the Northern Ireland Audit Office and Public Accounts Committee staff to produce this new guidance. The clerk has been liaising with the TOA office, particularly regarding the aspects to the work that relate to the Public Accounts Committee. I very much welcome that this work has now concluded and that we have a tailored version for Northern Ireland on this guidance. Are members content to note? Can I just thank our own staff, the Audit Office and TOA colleagues for making this become a reality. Thank you. Members then, I refer to correspondence in your pack, pages 92 to 94, dated the 8th of July from Colin Boyle, Interim Accounting Officer at the Department of Finance, regarding information on the more on PAC's report on major capital project. Mr Boyle has outlined definitions of recommendation noted and recommendation accepted in principle, and has included a timetable on completing the 15 recommendations coming out of a report. Mr Donnelly, have you anything you want to comment on that?
Well, 2 points, Chair. It's helpful that they've given a definition of what they mean by noted and accepted in principle. That's helpful. And also then, it's also helpful that there's a list of target dates down at the bottom, and that's something the committee can come back to in maybe 6 months' time. So it's good that they're actually nailing some of the recommendations down with specific target dates. And you can see some of the actions will take longer than others to work through, but at least we have dates to hold them to account to.
Okay, thank you. Any members, any comment? Content?
Content.
Okay, members, we have already requested an update in 6 months' time, effectively from the 8th of July, which the Department of Finance has given and undertaken to provide the committee with, so we will continue to monitor that. Item 3 then, in terms of correspondence, I refer to correspondence in your pack, pages 95, 9th of July, from the Committee of Finance regarding the publication of the report on the Independent Fiscal Council for Northern Ireland. Mr Donnelly, have you any comment on that in relation to the forthcoming budget process?
It's a useful report from the Finance Committee. I suppose the essence of it is really a recommendation to put the Council onto more of a statutory footing. I know the council themselves are doing a very interesting piece on how the whole budget process works in Northern Ireland, so I think that'll be their first publication. As you know, we also have done an audit report on the budgetary process, which is on your agenda for the future. And perhaps an option would be to have the Fiscal Council up to the committee at some point. I think that would be interesting.
Okay, members. Are members content to note? Agreed. Okay. Agenda item 4 then is, correspondence item 4. I refer to correspondence in your pack, page 96, dated 9th of October, regarding the retirement of Mr Donnelly, Comptroller and Auditor General from March 2022, of which the Speaker is also aware. Mr Donnelly did write to me and wrote to the Chair of the Audit Committee, and indeed I've met with Mr Donnelly since, and he has discussed the issue with me. And this is an issue which I'll not ask Mr Donnelly to comment on today, but obviously the wheels will start turning in terms of Mr Donnelly's replacement, because I think Mr Donnelly intends to retire at the end of the mandate. Isn't that correct, Mr Donnelly?
That's right, but I'll be here for a while yet, and a few more reports to bring to you, but I think it's important that there's plenty of notice.
The news of your departure has been greatly exaggerated.
To give the Assembly time to work through a process.
Okay. No doubt there will be comment that will be made closer to the time, but we'll just leave that at this stage. So members content to note? Yep. Correspondence item 5 then. Refer to your correspondence pages 97 to 118 from the Committee of Finance regarding the Department of Finance business plan for 21-22. The business plan sets out the priorities for the year ahead and reflects the many challenges being faced by us all from the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr Donnelly, anything you want to add to that?
No, it's quite interesting. There is, towards the end of the document, there's just a challenging set of targets in there, and quite a lot around the whole strategic HR issue, covering points that will have come out of your report on capacity and capability. Also issues that maybe have flowed out from the major capital projects and bringing more commercial skills into the department. So you'll also notice that, I suppose, over the past year or so, just the COVID issue has really dwarfed everything else in the department, and they have been quite proactive on the COVID front, and inevitably that has meant other things have gone on to the back burner, but it's a useful document. Okay, members content to note? Correspondence. Item 6 then, refer to correspondence in your pack, page 119, dated the 22nd of July from the Department of Finance to the Finance Committee on the definition of ministerial directions. Mr Andy Monaghan, the DAERA, makes the reference definition of a ministerial direction is set out in the Managing Public Money Northern Ireland brackets MPMNI. This committee is well aware what a ministerial directive is, so content to note. Agenda items. Correspondence item 7 then is members. I refer to correspondence in your packet, pages 120, dated 22nd of July from Professor Bartholomew regarding the appointment of Miss Jenny Piper, holding both posts of Pro-Chancellor and Chair of the Council, together with the post of the interim head of the Northern Ireland Civil Service. And had this any conflict of interest? Professor Bartholomew states that he is confident any potential conflicts have been managed appropriately. And Mrs Piper is no longer in that post in terms of interim head of the civil service anyhow, but that it provides the response that we wanted. Okay, members, content to note? So correspondence item 8 then, I refer to correspondence your pack, pages 121 to 123, dated the 9th of August from Health Minister Robin Swan regarding indemnity arrangements of £250,000 in support of the Royal College of Physicians' participation in the Department of Health Neurology Review. Normally, departments are required to give the Assembly 14 days notice before entering into an indemnity, and that this period should fall outside of recess. However, in order to ensure that this important work continues at pace, this has not been possible. Mr Swan
is therefore notifying the PAC of this indemnity that the Department has entered into by means of a letter. This has also been copied to the Chair of the Health Committee. Mr Donnelly, have you any comment?
No, I have no comment on it. I think it's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And I suppose, there could be significant contingent liabilities arising out of the work on the neurology review, but at this point they're impossible to call.
Any members, any comment? Okay. So members, I refer to correspondence agenda in terms of correspondence agenda item 9. Refer to correspondence your table pack dated the 13th of September from Robin Swan regarding the issue. Sets it all out clearly. Are members content?
Yeah. Content.
Okay, thank you. Correspondence agenda 10. Then I refer to your correspondence in relation to number of queries from PAC. In your packet, pages 124 to 126, dated the 18th of August 2021, from Colin Boyle, County Officer, Department of Finance, regarding NISRA 2020 report on the Northern Ireland Civil Service sick absence, which addresses the issue in the following questions which PAC had asked. What has driven the decrease in these figures? Has the Northern Ireland Civil Service HR made any broad conclusions from these, and how will the findings of the NISRA report feed into recommendations from the PAC's capacity and capability into the Civil Service report? Mr Boyle has given an answer to each of these areas, concluding that the Northern Ireland Civil Service has moved at pace to adopt new ways of working during the pandemic, which, despite the challenges, provided an opportunity for new ways of working, such as working from home or hybrid models of this. Moreover, the Department of Finance work has commenced on PAC Recommendation 10 of the Capacity and Capability Inquiry to explore sick absence rate. Mr Donnelly, any comment to make on that?
No, I have nothing to add, Chair.
Any member, any comment to make? Members? Mr. O'Toole.
So bringing the correspondence up, I think, before, I think it's encouraging to see that the Department is taking action in this regard. I mean, I would, however, just make the point gently that using the people working from home as sort of evidence of civil service transformation in action is not plausible, because every organisation in the world basically is set to do that. So I don't see it as a useful proof point that serious reform is going on. But I take, I would at least acknowledge that they are working on it.
And I think only time will tell if that point is made any difference. Are members content to note? Yeah. Okay. Correspondence item 11 then, refer to correspondence in your pack, pages 227 to 129, dated the 9th of July, which is a memo from the Finance Committee to the Comptroller and Auditor General regarding the reform of property management programme, hard charging, and also includes the CAG's response to the Finance Committee dated the 26th of August. The CNAG has commented that if introduced, hard charging would foster commercial style discipline and allow for more constructive challenge from service users. I suggest we ask the Finance Committee to keep the committee updated on any progress. Members agreed? Mr Donnelly, have you any comments you want to make on that?
Just a couple of points. It's actually good that the other statutory committees are keeping an eye on recommendations from my office and this committee. That's a good thing. Hard charging, I suppose there are a lot of central services in the Department of Finance, and my office has been pushing for a more commercial style approach for many years, and eventually Finance a few years ago did accept in principle that they would move in this direction, and simply gone back on it a little. We'll be in further discussion just to see what their thinking is.
Okay, members, content to note?
Chairman, just a comment. I think it is important there is an awareness of the cost of the infrastructure that each section, each department has, because without it, there is no incentive to perhaps downsize or improve the efficiency of heating systems or whatever. So I think hard charging is important.
Okay. Okay. And then correspondence item 12. Refer you to an email received on Tuesday, the 14th September from Mr Stephen Agnew and Renewable Energy. Obviously we have just completed a report into generating electricity from renewable energy, which I hope we will be able to finalise today. Mr Agnew's email therefore is timely. Are you content to note? Great. Okay, members, we will remain in open session for our next agenda item, which is Ministerial Direction. So we're on agenda item 6, Ministerial Direction, pages 131 to 149 of your pack. Mr Donnelly, Mr Wilkinson and Mr Bingham, who is joining us remotely, will remain with us for this item. Members, I refer to correspondence from Mr Donnelly dated the 13th of August 2021, page 131 of your pack, regarding a revised Ministerial Direction support scheme for impact of flooding in the Glenelly and Owen-Killu River catchment areas. The purpose of the revised direction is to introduce a third payment, which is also based on land type, severely disadvantaged area (SDA) commons land. All the other conditions remain unchanged. The Department estimates that the total cost of the scheme will be reduced by approximately 3.45 million to 3.1 million and will be met with the existing departmental budget. The scheme is to be delivered by the Department over the summer period. The letter makes clear that the Department of Finance approved this revised proposal on the 30th of June 2021. Members, the relevant documents can be found at pages 132 to 149 of your pack, and that includes sign-off by the Minister involved, DAERA Minister Edwin Poots, MLA. Mr Donnelly, any comment?
No, of course there was already a direction on this, so this is a relatively minor adjustment to the initial response.
And reduction in public spending, which is good.
Yeah, so it's self-explanatory, I think.
Members content to note?
Content.
Thank you. Okay, members, we will now go into closed session to discuss the issues paper from the evidence session on the 8th of July regarding our inquiry into the Sports Sustainability Fund.